back to Same Right Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So in this class we'll be replicating these corset jackets. Tutorial, I've already ruled my borderline. So from this borderline, which is the shoulder line, I'm going to take my chest line measurement. I'm drafting the back pattern piece of this jacket. So once you have taken your back measurement, that's your chest measurement, next is your back length measurement, and next is the top length. So this top length, or this jacket length, I'm using 24 inches. So I'll just go ahead and rule my lines across. So once I've done that, the next thing I will do is to impute my shoulder measurement. So here my shoulder measurement is 15 divided by 2. I have 7.5. I'll come over to the chest line and mark the same 7.5. I'll come back to the neckline, mark 3 inches for the neck width and 1 inch for the neck depth. So once I've done that, I'll go ahead and create the back neckline. So this is the back neckline. Then I'll come over to the shoulder and drop my shoulder by 1 inch. Then I have my shoulder slant line, and then I'm going to mark down to the chest line. So for the back armhole, I'll just get the midline. This is the midpoint, and I'll come in by 0.5 for the shoulder midline. I'll connect with a straight rule. Then I'll leave it at this. Then my bust circumference divided by 4 is 10 inches. So I'll mark the 10 inches and add half an inch of an ease to my jacket. So once I've added half an inch of an ease to my jacket, I'll go ahead and rule the armhole line. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my bust span line. Okay, so my bust span line is 4 inches. So I'll mark the 4 inches all across. That's bust span divided by 2. I'm going to mark it all across the lines. So I'll be using the bust span line to create my dart leg. So I'll just go ahead and mark my dart leg. So once I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my dart half an inch on the waistline on both sides. So I'll just go ahead and create the dart. So once I've created this dart this way to that way right now, so I'll now come back to my shoulder line. So I'm going to divide my shoulder line by 2 equal parts, then get the mid line. Okay, so once I've gotten the midline, I'll connect it to form my shoulder dart for the back. So once I'm done with that, next I will do is to come back to the waistline and contour my waist with half an inch. So this is a jacket. I'm going to contour by half an inch, connect to the neckline, and then connect all the way to the hip line. So once I'm done, I'll now start to take my measurement of my waist. So my waist measurement divided by 4 is 9 inches. So this is it. I'll mark 9 inches. I'm going to add 1 inch for my dart. That is 10 inches. And I'm going to add half an inch for ease. Remember, we added ease to this block. So that gives us another 1 inch for that and half an inch for my ease. Then I'll just connect with my pattern ruler this way. So once I've done with that, I'll come over to my hip. So my hip divided by 4, I have 12 and a half. so I'm going to mark the 12.5, and I'll add half an inch of an ease as well, so making it 13 inches at the hip line. So I'll now go ahead and connect my hip measurement this way. Okay, so that becomes my jacket for the back. So now I'll just quickly cut out this jacket right now for the back. Okay, so this is my back jacket, so we'll keep it because we'll be taking the measurement of what we have right here. So I'll just go ahead and take that measurement of what we have on this neckline. We'll keep it and use it when we'll be drafting the collar. Okay, so the front collar. So here I have 3.5. Okay, so that is 3.5. I'll just note it. So let me quickly cut out this jacket right now. So this is what my pattern looks like for the back. Okay, so here is my back pattern 1 and my back pattern 2. So I'm going to set it aside together with the number, the measurement I have on the neckline. Then we'll proceed to the front. So coming over to the front pattern, which is the main business of this tutorial. So to create my border line, I'll come down from the top by 6 inches, and I'll come in from the center front by 4 inches. So I'll just go ahead and create my border lines first at 6 inches, 6 inches, 4 inches. So I'll just rule my line across this way, then rule my line across this way too. Alright, so this becomes my jacket border line. So that means that here is my shoulder line and this is my center front. So I'll go ahead to impute my necessary lines, which is my chest line, my bust point line, under bust, waist, and full length. Okay, I'm using 24 inches like I used at the back. I'll just go ahead and create the full length. So I just added up my paper right now. So I'll rule my vertical lines across. So once I've ruled my vertical lines, I'll come back to impute my shoulder line. So I'm going to impute my shoulder 7.5, half of my shoulder 7.5, neckline 3 inches, neck width 3 inches, and neck depth 3 inches. So I'll just go ahead and connect the 3 inches neck width and neck depth up to this point. Then I'll drop my shoulder right here by 1 inch. So from here I'll drop my shoulder by 1 inch. I'll go ahead and drop it. Then for the front armhole, I'll still get the mid line of my armhole. From here to here I get the midline of my armhole, and for the front I'll come in by 0.75. So I'll just go ahead and connect this way. So coming over to the chest line, I'll still impute my bust circumference divided by 4 and still add my half an inch for ease, which I added for the front. So that will help me to create my hole. Okay, so next will be to come over to my bust point line. This is my chest line, this is my bust point. I'm going to impute my 4 inches bust span, divide by 2. I'll take it all the way to the length of this jacket. So I'll just go ahead and do this. The 4 inches, I'll just mark them down to the end. So everything here is 4 inches, 4 inches till I get to the and 4 inches. So on the waistline, I'll also create my dart. My dart is half an inch, half an inch. Okay, so I'll just go ahead with half an inch, because I'm making a jacket, though I'm making it with a corset. Okay, so I just go ahead and draw that line up to my bust point line. So to create this corset, I'm going to use my bra cup to create this corset. So I'll just go ahead and, but before I come in with my bra cup, I would like to finish up the upper part of this. So let me keep this and come over to finish up the collar line, you know, all of them. Then we'll now come to the creation of this. So now after this, I'll come in by 1 inch from here to here. 1 inch. That 1 inch is going to serve as my button allowance. So I will take that 1 inch all the way from that neckline. I'll take it all the way down to the hem. Okay, so I just go ahead and rule a whole straight line down to the hem this way. All right, so I've created my button allowance. Cutting my button allowance, so the next thing is going to be the break even point. So I'll be using my under bust line as my break even point. So let me just quickly name the lines we have here. Okay, so this is the shoulder line, so you'll be able to know what we are working with, okay, and how we are connecting these points. This is the bust point, this is my under bust point, this is the waistline for the front, and this is the jacket length. Okay, so now we've created the jacket, the numbers or the names of the lines. So I'm going to extend my line on the under bust line to my button allowance to create my break even line. So your break even line can be on the waistline, it can be anywhere on this line. So just choose where you want your break even line to be. So I'm going to connect from this break even line all the way from here to my shoulder, you can see. Then I'm going to extend this line. So the extension of it and extend it to the back neckline. So here we are going to take the measurement of what we had at the back. So if you remember, I told you to note the back neckline. So here I measured from here, I had 3.5. So this 3.5 I measured now, I'm going to rule that 3.5 from this point where I have my shoulder to this point. So note that here is the shoulder line. Okay, here is my shoulder line. So at this point of the 3.5 I measured from here, I'll just go out of it by half an inch. So I'll just do half an inch this way and connect back to the neckline. So this will enable the jacket to lay perfectly in place. So I'll just extend a little of this line right now. Then I'll come in with my protractor. I love to use my protractor to get this angle because this part needs to be at angle 90 degrees. So if you have your protractor, that will help you to get the angle accurately. Okay, but if you don't know how to use the protractor, just make this line to be perpendicular to this line. So I'm going to extend my line this way. Okay, so what I have here should be 90 degrees to relax your collar. So I'm going to take the measurement of my collar width from here to here, and I'm making use of 3.5 as my collar width. Then coming over to the lapel, usually the lapel is being extended a little more. So I'll just extend that lapel a little more by 1 more of an inch. So from here to here, I'll extend a little more at 1 more of an inch. Then I'll create the shape of my lapel. You can decide to have it go straight, but I love to make my lapel a little curved. Okay, just a little curved. So from here to here, I'm going to connect back to that break even line. Then I'll come over back to this point, and from this point I'm going to raise my collar a little bit to form my collar. So from the lapel line, I'll come up by 0.5, and then I'm going to connect that 0.5 back to the where I have my 1-inch button allowance. Then I'll place my pattern ruler this way to form my collar. So your collar width is by choice. It depends on how you want your collar width to be. Okay, so this is what I have on my collar width. All right, people, so now we are done with this collar. Okay, so but the main purpose of this tutorial is having a corset in a jacket. I know most of you know how to go about drafting your jacket. So now note that I took my measurement of my waist, of my bust circumference, divide by 4, and I had 10 inches from the center line. This remains the center line. Please don't confuse it. Center front line. Okay, and I added half an inch to it. Then coming over to the waistline, I will take my waistline measurement as 9 inches. I'll add 1 inch to my dart. That is 10 inches, and I'll add half an inch of ease like we did before. Then coming over to the waistline, note that this remains the center front, not the button allowance. So I'm taking the measurement of my hip, upper hip, as divided by 4 as 12.5, and I'll add half an inch of an ease to it. So I'll just go ahead and close up everything I have right here. Okay, so once I've closed them up, so I have something looking like this. So now if you look at the front piece of that jacket on the thumbnail, you will notice that there's a little slant, okay, to this line. So we are just going to make that slant right now. So I'll extend my waistline to slant that line. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch from my waist, or 1.5 or 2 inches. So let me just do 2 inches, so it's not too much open on the waistline. So on the hem line from the center front line, I'll just go in by 1.5 inches from the center front line. Okay, so once I go in, I'll just do this, connect this slant line. So this slant line can be a little more longer. Note that I'm working with 24 inches. You can make your length of your jacket longer than what I have. Okay, it can be 25, it can be 26. As you can see on the thumbnail, it appears it's longer. So if it's longer, the slant line will get a little more longer. I believe you understand what I just explained. So now I will come over with my corsets. We'll be using the bra cup to create this corset very easily without no stress. So I'll just come in from my bust point line as usual. We'll come in by half an inch, so we'll still maintain the half an inch. So once I've placed the half an inch right there, I will position my bra cup. Okay, so make sure you position the bra cup very well so that the underbust sits exactly at where it's supposed to sit. Okay, so your bra cup size, I have a detailed video on how to determine your bra cup size. I'll be linking that on the description box below, so you'll be able to know when to use your bra cup, the right size and all that. So you can see from end to end, I marked the bra cup line. So at this bra cup line, I'll just take it off. We'll still work on this bra cup as we proceed in this tutorial. So now I've gotten the point I want my corset to sit. So I will still go ahead and do this because this corset has this jacket has a keyhole. So I will advise you to create that keyhole. Just get the shape of this bra cup completely. Okay, so I'll just get the shape completely before we go ahead. So this is the shape that we have at that point. So now the next thing we are going to do is to create the keyhole. Okay, there's a keyhole right here. So to create that keyhole, I'm going to first and foremost come in from my shoulder right here. I'm coming in by 1.5. So once I've gotten that 1.5, I'll just follow this line this way. Okay, and I'll just make dotted lines first. Okay, I'll make dotted lines before I create it. So I'll stop somewhere around here because we'll be having our keyhole around here. So to create that keyhole, I'll just come in at this point. Okay, let me just pretend I got my line right here. Okay, so this line I just have to mark it here, and from there I'll just come up by half an inch because the keyhole is not that too open. So I'll now go ahead and use this part of my pattern ruler, as you can see. So this is how I'm going to create it. So from here to here, I'm going to create that keyhole, that opening. So this is the opening we have right now, and I'm going to go ahead to connect this line now. Okay, so since I've gotten that little opening right there, so I'm going to also place my pattern ruler here this way and connect this. I need this line to be connected right away on this line this way, okay, the way it is on the thumbnail. So we are going to trace out what we have right here. Of course, you see how we are going to do that. So once I've connected this to this, next is to connect this one to the bodies this way. Okay, all right, so now we are going to trace out what we have on this. So I'm going to trace it out now using my pepper. So I'll just go ahead and trace it out. So I'm going to place my pepper. So as you are tracing out, make sure you trace out the exact parts you require. So I'll just go ahead and trace now. So if you are tracing out, of course you'll be seeing the parts if you are using this paper. You can also use transparent paper to trace this out accordingly. So I'll just take my time to trace out the part I need. So this is the part I need. I'll go ahead and trace out these other parts as I see them. So I'll just trace. This is the armhole part of it, and then I'm going to trace out so this is what I need. Okay, so this is what I need, and this is the shoulder line. So I'll go ahead and cut out what I just traced out now, and that will be, by the time we cut, that this part is going to lay or be stitched on top of the other parts. All right, so what I just did is simply this. Okay, so I believe it's clearer now. So that is simply what we are going to place on top of the main dress. So I'm going to cut out this pattern. Okay, I'm going to cut it out, everything I have here. But before I cut out this pattern, I'm going to use my bra cup to create the remaining part of this corset part. So I have a detailed video on how to draft a beginner's corset perfectly, a 3-part corset perfectly using masking tape. So I'll be dropping the link on the description box below, and you can also check it out on my channel. So what I'm doing right here now makes it easy for you to design your corset. So I'll quickly wrap all around this right now, then we'll create the 3-part corset. I'll just go ahead and trim off. So like I said, you can check out that video, it's very detailed. So you are going to see how you can use this to form your corset designs. Okay, you can form any corset design of your choice using your bra cup. So corset styling is made easy with your masking tape. All right, so now we are done with it. So next we want to do is to start up the design. Okay, so we'll start creating the three parts part of this. So first you will do is to identify where you want. If you want the design to pass through the bust point, or you want it a little bit bust point, you can do this. Then you can decide to take measurement of your where you want it. So here I will want it at 2.25, and here I will want it at 2.5. So I'll just go ahead and do this. Allow it pass through this point to the 2.25. Then this is the bust point. You just go ahead and do what? And have the bust point. So here I will point my arrows pointing to the upper part of it, and here is the bust point. Okay, so here is the center front, and this is the side. Here is the side, so I'll have to mark out all the sides. Okay, here is the center front. Then I'll use two lines this way, one line, one line. Why I'm making all these lines is when cutting your corset, so you don't confuse which one belongs to which. So I'll just go ahead and tape it out. Okay, so I'll just tape everything out and cut it out. So make sure you tape your bra cup very appropriately, so by the time you remove it, you don't have issues with it. So this is it, and this is what I've removed. So I'll quietly do what? Cut it out. So I'll quietly cut it out. So once I've cut it out, as you can see right here, I'll just cut it out this way, and then I'll place it on a plain pattern this way. Can you see? So I'll place it on a plain pattern this way. I'll cut this part out. Then I'll also place it on another plain pattern. So these are where what I'm going to cut right now. So instead of going ahead to impute your dart here, there, okay, so it's easy for you. So I'm going to cut out my jacket right now, and I want you to watch and see where I'm cutting. So I'll just go ahead and cut on this line this way. Once I get to this part, I'll go ahead and cut. So this is my jacket collar, which I just cut right now. So I'll just cut it right here. Like I said, I know you know how to go about your jacket. So this is the collar. Okay. So I'll go ahead to cut on the shoulder line to the armhole, to the side. Okay, then I will go ahead and cut on the lapel, to the button allowance, to the shape I gave to the corset, to the jacket. So once I've done that, next is to go over to the darts. So I'll cut my darts. I'll get to this point of my darts. I'll go ahead and cut my darts up to this point once again. Then I'll stop. Then I'll start up from here to cut. Note that we have already traced here, traced it out. So I'm going to cut into the keyhole to where I have my jacket. So what I'm doing is I'm basically cutting out this and taking it off to replace the parts we just used our masking tape that we are going to use our bra cup. So I'll throw this away. I don't need it in this pattern. I'll also take off the darts. I don't need it in this pattern. So this is the part I need right now. Then for this, I'll also leave it the way it is. Okay, this is how we are going to sew it. But then when we cut out this part, we will basically add seam allowance by the side of it. Okay, so when we are going to sew it, we'll top stitch on top of it very neatly and place it right on top of this. That's if you are recreating this exact design we have on the thumbnail. Okay, so here will be attached to this part. So I'll be naming this jacket part my F1. I'll be naming this my F2. So the lapel will come this way. Okay, from the break-even line, the lapel will just come in this way. Okay, of course you know how the jacket, okay, comes. Okay, so it will just be this way, while we have our corset inside it this way after we have sewn this part. Okay, so you can see it's, you know, actually looking like what we have right there on the thumbnail. Then here comes our collar. So I will now go ahead and cut out what I have on. I'll set this aside. Then I'm going to cut out my corset pattern. So this is the pattern I'm going to use to work on the corset. So I just cut it exactly the way it is. This is what I will use on my paper. So I'll just go ahead and cut. Alright, so these are my patterns. So the next thing I will do is just to simply transfer everything I have here. Okay, so I'll simply transfer everything. So as I'm transferring, note that here I have the bust line pointing that way, and here I have my side. Okay, so this is the side. So I'll just go ahead and have the side. Then here I will point this way and this way. Okay, so this will now serve as my corset pattern. So for this, I'll also mark these lines. Wherever I have these lines, I'm going to mark them back. Then my center front line, this is my center front center. So now I'm done marking them out right now. So this part will be sewn to this part, okay, as usual, to form our corset. So if you watch that video, you will see how I use my bra cup to sew my corset. So by the time I'm done attaching and sewing all of these parts, I have everything falling in place. Okay, I have everything falling in place back into the bra cup. So this is the pattern we have for the front, because we are done with this tutorial right away. So when sewing this dress, I'm going to first join this and this, F1 and F2. I'm going to join them. So once I'm done joining F1 and F2, I'll go ahead and join my bra cup. Okay, so I'll leave it the way it is and join my bra cup before I stitch close or top stitch this part. So here will be the bra cup together with the fabric with this pattern as we have recreated it right now. Okay, so that is that, and that is how to go about this beautiful corset dress. So this one, like I have said, if you are replicating what we have exactly on the thumbnail. So another thing I want to do is, we forgot to cut out what we have here, so please ensure you cut out the keyhole. So I'm cutting out the keyhole right now. This keyhole part is going to be open this way, so I'll just cut it from here to here. Okay, so that's just the little keyhole part. So if you want to make it a little more wider, you can go ahead and make it a little more wider. So this is the exact replication of what we have right there on the thumbnail. So by the time the corset falls in place and is sewn this way, you see the opening, that keyhole part is there for us, and this one comes in exactly like I just explained earlier. Okay, so that is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial, and I believe this class was helpful to you. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again for coming and for watching, and see you in the next class. Bye.